Imagine spending billions of dollars to build what was supposed to become industrial heartbeat of Africa. A steel city designed to power factories, railway, bridge, vehicles, defense industry, and millions of jobs. Now imagine that same project sitting silent for decades, becoming one of the world's most expensive symbol of unrealized ambition. But what if that story is about to change? What if one agreement could revive one of Africa's largest industry dreams? And what if the country at the center of the new chapter isn't the United States or Russia, but China? For decades, many believe Ajaokuta Steel was a lost cause, a monument broken promise, a lesson in failed industrial policy. But today, behind closed doors, Nigeria and China partners are holding advanced negotiations on a proposed multiple billion-dollar revive that could reshape the country's industrial future. While no final agreement has yet been signed, senior Nigeria officials say discussions have reached an advanced stage, making this one of the most closely watched industrial negotiations on the continent. If successful, the impact could extend far beyond Nigeria. It could influence manufacturing across West Africa, attract new investment, strengthen regional supply chain, and create opportunity for business across the continent and the African diaspora. But can this project finally succeed where decades of previous efforts struggle? Or will Ajaokuta become another unfinished chapter in Africa's industrial history? Stay with us, because by the end of this documentary, you will understand why investors, entrepreneurs, government, and Africa diaspora are watching this negotiation so closely. Welcome to Diaspora Project Media, where we uncover Africa's biggest investment opportunities, strategies, and industry shaping the continent's economic future. Chapter 1: The dream that meant to be transformed Nigeria. To understand why the world is paying attention today, we must first go back nearly half of a century. In the late 19th, Nigeria had a bold ambition not to export crude oil, not just to consume imported production, but to become one of Africa's leading industrial economies. Steel was at the center of that vision. History has shown that no nation has become a major industrial power without a strong domestic steel industry. From the United States during its Industrial Revolution to Germany, Japan, South Africa, and more recent China, steel became the foundation upon which modern economies were built. Steel is everywhere: in bridge, rail line, oil pipeline, ships, vehicle, factories, power station, housing, airport. Even machinery used to manufacture other machinery depend on steel. Without steels, industrialization become far more difficult and expensive. That is why Nigeria decided to build Ajaokuta Steel Company Limited in Kogi State. The division was enormous, a fully integrated steel complex capable of transforming Nigeria into a manufacturing powerhouse. The project was expected to stimulate mining, engineering, transport, construction, fabrication, machine tools, and thousands of small and medium-sized business. It wasn't simply factory. It wasn't designed as the foundation of an entire industrial ecosystem. The expectation was straightforward: produce steel locally, reduce imports, create jobs, build industry, grow export, strengthen the Nigerian economy. It sounded like the perfect plan, but reality had other ideas. But that's only part of the story. Political instability, funding problem, policy inconsistency, contract disputes, changing government, and years of uncertainty gradually turned one of Africa's biggest industrial dreams into one of its greatest frustrations. For decades, billions of dollars worth of equipment remained largely idle. Generations of Nigeria grew up hearing that Ajaokuta would soon begin produce steel. Yet, commercial scale production never truly took off. As time passed, many began asking a difficult question: would Ajaokuta overcome alive, or had Nigeria invested in a dream that would never be realized? Chapter 2: Why China is interested now? Here where the story become even more interesting. China's interest in Ajaokuta is not happening in isolation. Over the past 2 decades, China has become one of Africa's largest infrastructure and industrial partners. China companies have participated in construction of railway, highway, ports, airports, power projects, industrial parks, and manufacturing facilities across the continent. Steel is one of China's strongest industrial sectors. Its companies have decades of experience designing, operating, and expanding large-scale steel complexes. That expertise is one of the reasons Nigeria has been exploring China's partnership after previous rival efforts stalled. Rather than selling Ajaokuta outright, officials have discussed a production sharing model under which Nigeria would retain ownership while a partner finances reliability and expansion, recovering its investment through an agreed share of production over time. Supporters argue this structure could align incentives while preserving national ownership, though its final terms remain subject to negotiation. For Nigeria, this approach could reduce the need for government to provide the entire multi-billion-dollar funding upfront. For the private partner, success will depend on bringing technical experts, operational efficiency, and long-term confidence in Nigeria's steel market. Chapter 3: Can one steel plant really change Nigeria's economy? At first glance, this might seem like just another story about an old factory, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Steel is not simply another commodity. It's often described as the backbone of industrialization. Think about almost every major infrastructure project in Nigeria today: road, bridge, railway, airports, seaports, refineries, power station, high-rise building, oil and gas facility. They are all depend on steel. Today, Nigeria imports a significant amount of steel products used in construction and manufacturing, while local steel producers operate in a different segment of the market. The country still rely heavily on imports for many specialized and industrial grade products. That means billions of dollars leave the economy every year to pay foreign suppliers. Now imagine if a greater share of that demand could eventually be met locally instead of importing. Nigeria could manufacture more at home. That doesn't happen overnight, and reviewed Ajaokuta alone will not eliminate imports, but supporters argue it could become an important piece of a broader industrial strategy if linked with mining, power, transport, and downstream manufacturing. Potential benefits: more local manufacturing, higher value addition, skilled employment, industrial supply chain, reduce import dependency, export potential. Steel production doesn't create value only inside the factory gates. It creates opportunity across the entire economy. Mining company extract iron ore and other minerals. Transport company move raw materials. The engineering firm install and maintain equipment. Machine workshop fabricate industrial components. Construction company expand operation. Bank finance projects. Insurance company provide risk coverage. Universities train engineers. Technology firm develop industry software. Every of these sectors could benefit from increased industrial activities. That's why economists often refer to steel as a multiplier industry. One investment can stimulate dozens of others. Most people don't know this. Countries that successfully industrialized rarely relied on one industry alone. They built interconnected industrial ecosystem. China doesn't become the world manufacturing powerhouse simply because it produced steel. It connected steel production with transportation, electricity, ports, education, logistics, exports, and manufacturing. South Korea follow a similar path. So did Japan. The lesson is clear. Ajaokuta's success, if it happens, will depend not only on restoring production but also on integrating the plant into a wider industrial ecosystem. Without reliable electricity, efficient rail transport, competitive financing, consistent government policy, and a strong market, even the best steel plant will struggle to reach the potential. Chapter 4: the challenges that could make or break the project. Despite the growing optimism, investors should remain realistic. Ajaokuta have been described as being close to rival before. Several government announced plans, multiple technical partners showed interest, different agreements were explored, yet commercial scale operation never materialized. That history explains why many observers are obviously optimistic rather than overly confident. The proposed China partnership will face several important tests. Can financing be secure on acceptable terms? Can reliability stay on a schedule and within budget? Can reliable power and gas supply be maintained? Can transport infrastructure efficiently move raw material and finished products? Will policy remain stable across future administration? And perhaps most importantly, can all stakeholders sustain the political and commercial commitment needed to complete such a complex industrial project? These are not small questions. They are very issues that will determine whether Ajaokuta become a true industrial success or another missed opportunity. Final chapter: what happen next? Could this be Nigeria's industrial turning point? For more than 4 decades, Ajaokuta has been representing unrealized potential, a project that promised transform Nigeria economy, yet become one of Africa's largest running industry story without reaching full commercial operation. Today, the conversation has changed. Instead of asking whether Ajaokuta should be revived, the question has become whether Nigeria can finally deliver what generation has hoped for. If ongoing negotiation with a Chinese partner result to a final agreement, and if implementation is carried through successfully, it could become one of the most significant industrial developments in Nigeria in decades. But success should not be measured simply by restarting a steel plant. Its real impact will be measured by what follows. Will manufacturers gain more reliable access to local produced steel? Will new factories emerge? Will young engineers find more opportunity at home? Will Nigeria reduce dependence on imported industry material? Will supporting industry expand? Will exports increase? These are the outcomes that would determine whether the projects truly change Nigeria industry landscape. And here is the biggest surprise: the real opportunity may not belong only to government or multinational corporations. History shows that major industry projects often create opportunity for thousands of smaller business, transport companies, engineering consultants, industrial equipment supplier, technology firm, training institution, financial service provider, construction company, environmental consultants, logistic operators, food and hospitality business serving industrial communities. For the African diaspora, this is an important reminder. Sometimes the greater investment opportunities are not headline project itself. They are business that grow around it. Those who study supply chain often identify opportunities long before other wider market notice. That is why staying informed matters. The global steel industry is becoming increasingly competitive. Countries are investing in cleaner technology, more efficient production, and stronger regional supply chain. Nigeria has several advantages: a large domestic market, abundant natural resources, a strategic location in West Africa, and access to the African Continental Free Trade Area, which aims to expand trade across the continent. But advantage alone do not guarantee success. Execution does. Around the world, industrial success has depended on consistent policy, skilled worker, reliable infrastructure, and long-term investment. If Ajaokuta is becoming the catalyst many people hope, it will need more than new equipment. It will require sustained commitment from government, private investors, technical partners, and Nigeria business. The story of Ajaokuta Steel is untimely about more than steel. It is a story about ambition, about resilience, about difficult journey from vision to execution. It reminds us that industrial transformation is rarely achieved overnight. It demands patience, capital, technical experts, and above all, consistency. As today, no final agreement with a Chinese company have been announced. What exists are advanced negotiation and strong public statement from Nigeria official expression confidence that a deal could be concluded. That decision is important for investors, business and policymakers following this story. Whether those negotiations lead to a successful rival remains to be seen, but one thing is already clear: the world is paying attention once again, because if Nigeria finally unlock the potential of Ajaokuta, the benefit could extend to beyond one steel plant. It could strengthen manufacturing, support infrastructure development, create new business opportunities, generate skilled employment, and reinforce Nigeria's position as one of the African leading industrial economies. The coming months will be critical. Investors will be watching, business will be watching, government will be watching, and also will millions of Africans who benefit the continent's next chapter will be written not only through natural resources but through value-added industry, innovation and enterprises. Here at the Diaspora Project Media, we will continue to follow every major development, separating fact from speculation and bringing you a depth analysis of Africa's biggest investment opportunity. If you found this documentary valuable, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Diaspora Project Media, turn on notification and share it to someone who believes in Africa's future. Which country are you watching from? Drop it in the comment section. And which African industry do you think is the most undervalued? Tell me in the comment below and I will break it down in our next video. Until the next time.